All right, so thank you all for attending our first Greek life food for thought. So today we will be just having some light conversation about all things Greek life. We do begin with the disclaimer that none of us, Phi Beta Sigma, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, and Sigma Gamma Rho, none of us speak for the organization. So we're not our international or national presidents. So our expressions and thoughts here today are that of our own. Is that an understanding? Is that correct? Okay. So we will go by some introductions. I have to my right, Destiny Baker, then Alexis, Jasmine, Essence, and Talisha. So if y'all can introduce yourself in that way, okay?
Hello, so my name is Destiny Baker. I'm a spring 2020 initiate of the Epsilon Lambda chapter of Tau Beta Sigma. I'm a junior social work student.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexis Gainey. I'm a spring 19 initiate of the Alpha Kappa chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I am a senior.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jasmine West. I'm a spring 19 initiate of the Alpha Lambda chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I'm also a senior majoring in criminal justice.
Hello, everyone. I am Essence Edwards. I am a spring 20 initiate of the Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated by the way of the Beta Omicron chapter. I am also a senior major in nutrition and dietetics.
Hi, you guys. Alicia Balls. My name is Alicia Balls. I'm a spring 20 initiate of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated by way of the Beta Omicron chapter. Can y'all hear me all right? Okay, great. I'm a junior at NCCU and I major in psychology.
Just FYI, because y'all in the same room, it's going to give that echo. It's going to give that echo back. Okay. So we'll try to work it out somehow. All right. Maybe, Talisha, you might want to put in your headphones and speak from your headphone. That might help. Let's try that. So I'm going to introduce myself. Since y'all want to be shy, I am Ebony Sneed, a distinguished, exquisite, illustrious, talented, and academically inclined member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I was initiated at the Delta Chi chapter at Elizabeth City State in 2000. I just celebrated 20 years of a member of this fine organization. Yes, 20 years. I'm probably been a member as long as some of y'all been born. And I will be 21 in another month. So thank you guys. We're gonna start right in. We're gonna have some good girl fun. So how does it feel to be on the other side? How does it feel now to be a member? Anyone just jump in.
I can start. So I was just thinking about that today, honestly, like before I crossed, I was literally to myself, like I didn't really have no friends. I wasn't talking to nobody. And now it's like I got all these girls, all these sisters I can do anything with, go out to eat with, travel. Like I love it. I love the bond. I love the sisterhood. And then now just being on the other side, seeing all the work we have to do, because it is work. That's just like, dang, I didn't know everybody had to do that too. But it's a learning experience, and I can definitely say it helped me grow a lot, like mentally, physically, everything. Like I definitely grew after crossing, so I do appreciate my organization.
Go ahead.
I totally agree with Jasmine. I would say it's definitely surreal. It's definitely being a part of something bigger than yourself. And me and my line sister were talking about this a few weeks as we all prepare to graduate and move on with our lives, and the fact that wherever we go, AK is. And that's nice to know that there's a community for me and my line sisters to go to and continue our service and to continue that bond. And it's an honor. And for me being a first generation Greek, to kind of set the tone for, my my nieces and then also to my cousins to see that we can continue this tradition of this service and working hard it's an honor.
I'll piggyback off of what they both said, like being in band on the other side of it. I mean, of course you can help out whenever we have cleanups in the band room, but being behind the scenes, like, okay, we have to have the hand sanitizer, the disinfectant spray out for them to actually do it. We have to help Mr. Hollins create programs. We have to create programs for the band to actually interact. And it's been a learning experience, especially because I was initiated at the right at the end of the pandemic, well, the beginning of it. So it was like a whole new setting and me having to learn how to work my way through the organization virtually. But it's really just helped me grow creatively, because it's like, okay, how can I step up as a leader now? Like, what does the band need? How do I know I feel? And just making sure I'm helping them where I know that I'm having the same problems at.
For me, honestly, it's been a game changer. It's been an eye opener for me to really just get out of my comfort zone. I'm an only child, so it's always been me. It's always been centered around, you know, myself and just only me. So now it's just really eye opening that I have to remove the I and just put in the we. Like, this is us. We're sisters now. We're in one whole organization. So like Alexis and Jasmine said, it's very time consuming and you put in a lot of work with it. It's fun at times, but then you have to get to the nitty gritty. You have to do the business, and the business always comes first, always. But it's just great to have sisters that you can lean on and depend on, call at any time, and you know their answer or they get to you. Like Jasmine said, you travel, you go out to eat, you get to do fun stuff. So it's basically been like a good experience so far. And like Destiny was saying, we came for spring 20, we came in right before the pandemic. So it's has its ups and downs, but it's really been great to have, you know, not only our like sorors and everything, but also our sister Greeks to actually help us and to love on us while we're still again learning and, you know, learning the ropes of, you know, the sorority.
I would say for me, it really grew me. It checked me in every way possible. I like joining my organization. I had to being selfish. Like, I have siblings, but I'm a spoiled, entitled little girl, and these my lovely sisters, they got me right. I I know what it feels like to be there for somebody more now, because I check up on them, make sure they're good. If I got it, they got it. They check up on me. And even though I have sisters, like I had an older sister, I felt by myself. So having 25 other sisters constantly hitting your phone, are you okay? Are you good? What's up? It's a great feeling. I've never felt alone since I crossed. It's helpful. They lift me up, and having that now at the rightful age 21, it's great. It, and I'm thankful for all of them. It really helped me get through a lot.
Right. Thank you for that, because you know, everyone sees the fun and they don't know the transition. You know, I would just share a little bit that I remember my big sister saying, Delta is a business. Delta does not have friends. And I was like, what? Like, they were not playing with us. But when you got in, they condition you because Delta is a business, like all of us, right? We're all 501c3, C7s. We are a business and we have to conduct ourselves. One thing I tell people is, being Greek will grow you up. If you're really about the business, if you are a worker, like, no one cares that Alexis is 20 when she becomes a member, or 19. It's like, no, you're a member of an international organization and you are a leader of this chapter. So, madam, I need you to do your stuff. Jasmine, I don't care that you have, not that they don't care. I'm not going to try to project that, but we know you have these responsibilities as a collegiate, but you have these responsibilities as a member, and you're just going to have to do it. And so it does grow you up. One thing I learned, sisterhood is medicine. I am the youngest of 6, and I've never been a big sister. So Delta allowed me to be a big sister. And I was one of the older ones on my line. And so it stretches you. It makes you be selfless, right? So it's like I have to push my sister up. If Jasmine comes to me, Essence, I'm just using, all of y'all on the call, comes to me with an idea, even though I may not agree with it, I have to be it has to be less of me and more of her, and I have to push her up. And we got to give and take, and we got to have those courageous conversations. So being on the other side is a privilege indeed, but it's a lot of work. And I tell people it ain't for the faint of heart. You cannot halfway do this thing called membership in our organizations. Okay. So thinking about that, how did you prepare? So I'm thinking about how I just led y'all with my big sister said Delta is a business. How did you prepare for membership? And that doesn't have to be long. Like, what did you do to get yourself, not like when it came to the application process, but getting yourself to be a worthy applicant when it was time to submit? How did you prepare?
For me, I would definitely say going to the events that we had, not only for the audition that you were interested in, but also for the events that we had before, the pandemic, in person for office, fraternity, and sorority life. And also, like Miss Nee always would tell us when we're in the MIOs or the Greek informational, to really research and take the time to really learn, and just not just the basic information, but go outside the box, get into knowing things on the sorority, on the national sorority website, and also just taking the time to really think, like, is this for me? Ask those questions and write down, if somebody would come to ask you, why do you want to be in this sorority? What can you bring? What can you offer? Those answers should just come quick like that. So, and it's also making sure that, you're good academically, because your academics come first, and everything will fall into place. But also making sure that resume was good, so you had to make sure everything was okay, make sure you was good with academic standing, and also in good standing with the your university, as far as like with the student code of conduct. So those were things that you had to look in. Once you knew that you were interested in joining a sorority, you had to look in other aspects, because it's not just you joining the sorority. You have to make sure that you keep up everything, grades, make sure that you're good, you're not goofing off. So it was a lot that you had to do to prepare. But once you knew and you had the mindset of saying, yes, this is for me, I got this, and you have people that are supporting you, you had people that you come to ask, helpful questions, and you were set. So yeah.
I would also say going to the events too as well, because yeah, you might want to join the sorority, but you're joining a chapter too, so you need to see, how that chapter is as far as the whole sorority. So I would definitely say going to the events. Also, looking at how you move on campus, like what's your reputation on campus, things that you do on social media, just being smart about things, because we want people in our organizations to represent us well, and not be, oh, that girl over there, she be getting around, stuff like that. We look at stuff like that. So I definitely think that should be taken into consideration when knowing, okay, I want to join an organization. But that's where you should start looking at yourself first. And is this your time? Are you ready? Type of thing. So
I would definitely say for me, it was seeing the ladies. So seeing Bridget, Jasmine, Joe, all of them, how they function as a whole, because, I could do research all day long on the internet and YouTube, but actually seeing the representative of the organization and seeing if that's something that I can see myself being a part of, that was big for me. I would say second to it was really nice. The MIOs were great. The Greek informationals really just, I guess for me, it was like more of a comfortability situation. Like I felt comfortable asking questions. I felt comfortable learning the information, what they were telling me, because like some of that information was the first time I ever heard it. So I love the fact that was there. And I would also say too, is just, as they always say, research, that really is pivotal, because not only are you a part of the organization, but you're also investing into the organization. And so whatever you put your money to, your time to, you want to make sure that it's worth what you want it to be. So those were big for me, but most importantly, it came down to the representative organization, the chemistry they have, what are they doing? And then I was able to kind of see myself. Could I see myself align with that and essentially work with it? So yeah.
Anything different to add, or are we good? Okay, Talisha.
Since Essence covered most of everything else, I would say I got a job. Before I answer the question, I want to do this. Everything on my list is checked off. Grades, I was good. Community service, I was good. I knew I wasn't wild on campus, so I wasn't known. So the only thing I had to worry about is, can I handle the business part? And I need to pay for all this because this is expensive. So I got a job and I learned how to balance constantly getting emails from school, getting phone calls to get called into work, how to balance. I need to go to this event. I need to hang out with friends. I need to do work and prep myself to learn how to juggle. So I got a job to help me get right with all that and pay for these dues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're on mute, Miss Nia.
Go ahead, Destiny. I don't know if me and you were about to speak at the same time, but go ahead if you have something to add.
So the thing that I paid attention to most before like preparing to like want to join and everything was, how can I help, like making sure, well, just observing like what they're already doing, and then seeing, okay, maybe these are problems that maybe they don't notice, or maybe they don't have those same problems, because there's different problems that you encounter as an upperclassman in the band and as a lowerclassman in the band, just like how you do with anything in life. You're older, you probably will have less problems. You're younger, you're probably going to have more. So I was just paying attention to like, okay, how is my class reacting to everything that's going on? How can I help not only my class and the band, but like how can I contribute to it and, you know, just help it get better? That was the first thing and the most important thing that I had to look at.
Thank you for that, ladies. Alexis kind of alluded to it, and Jasmine did too, about, you know, looking at the organization, looking at the members. So could you share with us what influenced you to become a member? What or who influenced you to become a member?
I would definitely.
So
Whoops. I would definitely say, this keeps happening, Destiny. It was okay. I would definitely say for me, I grew up with, it's so crazy because my grandmother growing up, I come from a big family. She would always have, you know, her lady friends from the church, things like that. And I never knew that some of those ladies were AKA. So for me, I kind of grew up with a community of them. My mother wasn't an AKA, but I grew with them around me with that community. So if it was helping me, tutoring me, I saw them in the church. So I got to see that. And then as I continued on, again, coming to college, really seeing it full force, like the ladies my age. I didn't go to high school where, unfortunately, the Divine Nine, they didn't volunteer like how I volunteered at other high schools, the high school that I went to. So unfortunately, I didn't see them in that capacity. But coming to college, I was able to really fully see the big picture. So for me, it simply came down to, as a child, helping me, tutoring me with the targets that they were doing at that time, and really having that impact on me, especially at church. And it just kind of increased over the years.
So my brother and my former band director both went to school here and were in bands. So they were a part of the Kappa Kappa Psi, the same chapter here. And it was just, they had a big influence on me. Like literally for anything that I had problems to, I went to them. So I was already introduced to it then, but it was confirmed whenever I came to school here. And I was like, okay, we're having all these freshman meetings. These are the ladies who are these are the ladies passing out sanitary products and hygiene products and things like that. These are the ones who are assigning mentors and like saying, hey, do you need to go to the store and things like that. So just seeing, okay, this is how they help the band. This is all that my brother and my former band director, like, this is what they were talking about. This is what they had to do. So just seeing it in person is what really helped me.
For me, my grandmother, my mom, basically my whole family. There's a lot of Delta women in my family, and like Alexis was saying, like the impact. My grandmother's friends are Deltas. My mom's line sisters. Like literally, as soon as I came to Durham, my mom was like, "Let me call my line sister, make sure she'll check out for you or look out for you, whatever." And just having that love and being surrounded by them and seeing what they do in the community. Like my mom crossed in 95 and she still like she used to wake us up on Saturday, come on, let's go do some service. Like that's just how my mom was. Like that just is instilled in her. And as a young person, you like, oh, I don't want to wake up. But when you get older and you realize like it's just bigger than just waking up and stuff like that. So I definitely say just being around my mom and my grandmother and seeing their impact in the community. My grandma was an educator, so I definitely would say those two are the ones who influenced me. And then too, they didn't like force it on me, which I love. Like they wasn't like, all right, you're gonna go to school and you need to pledge Delta. Like it was just like all right, go to school. They didn't really say nothing about Delta, but I made that decision on my own just because they were my influence. So.
So for me, the one person that influenced me heavily to join my sorority would be Ashley Royster. She was very well known. She graduated last year in 2020, and she was a soror leader for like a few years. She was she won the Phi Beta Sigma pageant. So she was very active on campus, and I actually had the pleasure of meeting her before I got to Central. So she really took me under her wing, and once she became, a member of Sigma Gamma Rho, she was just, she was doing so much on campus, and her face was just everywhere. She was at all the events, and she was doing the things that she needed to do for her department. So it was just really eye opening to see, what she was doing. And she would always like kind of like I'm like a big sister, like, hey, if you're free, come check us out here, or if we're having a drive, if you want to drop off stuff. So I'm like, okay, why not? So I'm just over here like la la la, and she's just like introducing me to different people and to the members. Unlike Lexus and Jasmine, I didn't have anybody that was Greek at all. I'm the first generation college student. I'm the first gen Greek in my family, so it was a pretty big deal once I told my parents about it and everything. But Ashley really paved the way and for me to be here where I'm at right now.
I want to say similar to since the two ladies who influenced me most was Callie and Whitney. On like our first 1040 break, my freshman year, it was hype, it was loud, and I don't have Greek in my family, well, except for fraternities. So only thing I knew was AKs and deltas because that's what you hear about. So when I got on camp and I'm seeing the sororities and fraternities, I saw Callie and she was hype, she was loud, doing her thing, looking great. And I was like, who are they? I ain't never blue and yellow. I said yellow back then, blue and yellow. So later on, I asked my cousin, because he's an Omega, I was like, hey, what's the sororities? They wear blue and yellow. Who them? And he told me, and then I started Googling, and I saw connections between my life and my values and morals between what they SGRO stand for, and like their events connected with me, me seeing them around campus doing like their programs, more and more just edged me towards them, and I couldn't let go. It felt right.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I appreciate the influence, right? Because we never know. Like, so now we're members, right? And we sow these seeds. We go into communities, we do great things, and we sow these seeds, and we don't know one day that they're going to sprout and they're going to be an Alexis Gainey. Or that how we have a daughter and we're sending the daughter to college, right? And she has always been around our greatness, and so therefore she wants to be it, right? You know what I'm saying? Without even having to be an influence. And I mean, excuse me, to without having to say you're going to join this organization because they have been so impactful. Or the fact that I really try to charge and encourage us to know our social capital, because you see a person like Destiny or Essence or Talisha who may not have this direct connection, but are inspired to Google, to ask questions, to follow up. And so it's so much impact. So thank you for sharing your influence. And I too, Essence, am a first gen. So I didn't even know only Delta in math. The Delta meant, you know, that's all I knew, right? And so when I got on the campus of Elizabeth City State and my first probate, because that's what we called it back then, was my big sisters from 97, and they came out of a moving van with jumpsuits on, and it was the hypest thing ever, right? Because you kind of see the aesthetics first, right? But then when the light turned on and it was daytime, oh, they are the SGA president. They are Miss ECSU. They are the presidents of clubs. They are what, we didn't use this term, but they are running the yard, right? You know what I'm saying? And I will also say all other members of other organizations were in leadership positions as well, right? And so it was just so wonderful to see someone doing so well, and me as a first gen having to pave my own path to be able to see those ladies doing something. And I know if I wanted to wear those letters, I had to be as good or even better to wear those letters. So they were an inspiration as well. Like, oh, I need to be in leadership. Oh, they have great grades, because we bragged differently back then. We told you about our greatness without you even asking. So it was so wonderful to be in that space, and people just don't know. So that's why I encourage people to, you never know when people are watching you, right? So you always have to be careful. So let me ask you this. So we're all ladies on this call. And so we talked about the inspiration or whatnot. And Jasmine kind of said about her mom and her grandma being members. So for lack of a better word, just for fun, to legacy or not, what do you think if you had a child? How would you feel if your child came to you? I was asked this question this week, actually, came to you and said, Mom, I want to be something else. How would you feel? And this is just a fun conversation.
I know my mom used to tell me, you can play as whatever you want to play as. I'm not paying for nothing if it's not. So she was like, I'm not paying for it. So, and I just feel the same way. Like, I'm like definitely respect other orgs, because we are all doing community service. We're all doing great things in the community. But however, Delta is near and dear to my heart. So I would definitely support it, you know, but I'm definitely not paying for it. You know, I still love my child regardless, but yeah, I would definitely not pay for it.
Lex, what you think, Lex? I just called somebody. What do you think, Lex?
I have to agree with Jasmine. I'm trying to start something for the generations to come. But listen, if they wanted to be, a part of another organization, I'll be so supportive. If anything, join. It's hard work. They have to get it how they get it. But I would definitely have to agree with Jasmine. I would be a little more giving financially if they went, the way I went. But even if they went the other way, I would just be as supportive, continuing the Black excellence, continue what all of our founders created for us. So that's important. I would be love to be a part of that for them. But of course, 1908. Okay.
Oh, okay, we hear you. So we can take either Talisha or Essence if you want to answer that question.
I answer that question. For me, it'll be like, baby, we gonna we making sure you sure this is what you want. You sure this is what you want. But no, I agree with Alexis and Jasmine. Like, we're all sister Greeks. We all love on each other at the end of the day. Yes, we gonna believe, like, yes, this is it, we the best, period. You gonna rep hard for your organization regardless.
Yes.
So I'm gonna support my baby regardless. But the funding, I don't know, it may be a little slim. I help you if you're struggling, but I'm like, listen, you're gonna have to get a job, do work study, okay? You're gonna have to do this your own. Be here if you need me, but you got it. You got it.
Yes, honey. I was asked that question, and I do because I have great friends. So me and my friends are the Panhandle, right? We the Panhandle, and so we love on each other, we respect each other. But I told them, I said I would be devastated. And I think all of the organizations are great. Don't get me wrong. Oh my goodness. I could tell you guys all of what y'all do and you'd be like, huh? Because that's how great I think you are. But I cannot withstand it. I think that I am a part of the best sorority on earth, right? I would be devastated, but then again, it's her choice. So I shared that because our 25th national president came into a room at our conference, at our regional conference. And she told us this. She said, stop telling your kids what they got to go to college to be. She said, I had on pink and green at everything. My mama was a bona fide member. My mama was a due paying member. I was at everything pink and green down. She tells the story, and I think she won't mind if I restate it. She says that she went to college. She says she calls her mom and she says, Mom, I got to tell you something. And she says, she tells her mom, she says, I want to pledge Delta. She said, her mama said, I thought you were going to say you were pregnant. And so she said when she crossed, her mama gave her red roses, and in the back were pink carnations. And her note said, never forget who has had your back. So it's all love. It's all love. Like Lex said, you want to build a legacy, right? Like, Jasmine, what number are you of the Deltas in your family?
15.
15. Like, I only got one child. I hope she don't have a whole bunch of them. But, like, that is wonderful. Like, I cry when I hear legacy. When like my niece, right? So I'm a first gen, and my niece wants to be, and Lex can tell you, my niece wants to be an AKA, and I've been pushing her. I'd be like, okay, and I'd be like, Lex, because I love it. I love the greatness, as all of us has shared. But I was like, I'm glad I got my own child, because I'd be devastated if my niece. But it is wonderful. It is wonderful. We do so much good, and it's just sibling rivalry. We joke, we chant and whatnot, but when you get out of this thing called undergrad, that's all we do is work together. You can see a program that says all of our names on it, and we gonna love up on each other. And you see our national presidents, they call each other sister sorors. They love up on each other. And so, but I just wanted to share that in fun to see. Destiny, you want to share, baby?
Oh no, I don't have any.
Okay, so it was just in fun. So let me ask you this. If you knew then what you know now, what would you have done different? I know that's a lot to think about. If you knew then what you know now, not like changing your mind or anything, that's not what I'm leading at. But I'm just saying, like, being in the inside now is like, oh, nobody told me this. Nobody put that on the flyer. Nobody told us that in the programs. It's like, okay, now I will share. Dues are every year. Dues are every year. And I'm telling you, we pay close to $400. Some people probably pay more, and no one, that's why when we have our MIOs, I say, I think it's a lifetime commitment, and I put a comma in it, and I put a lifetime financial commitment. So if I knew then what I knew now is, honey, they used to say it too, Delta ain't a poor girl sorority. And I was like, well, I'm a poor girl. But honey, they ain't fine, honey. And then so the dues part would have been what I would have been like, Lord, I need to work. Anybody want to take a stab at it?
I'll go. So the thing that I probably wish I knew then was about the professionalism. Like, yeah, you see events held and like you see service and all these types of things, but it's like at the end of the day, you're gonna have a meeting on Sunday. You better know how to start it. You better know the voting process and all that other stuff. And that was a lot. I was like, wait, we gotta do what? And so that was just a big shock that I wish I would have known more about. But people help you along the way. So that's the good thing about it, is that like you don't have to figure it out on your own.
Yes, I would have to agree with that too. Like being first. Well, first I was first vice, but then being president, and you have to go in national website, do this and do that. Emails, like, oh my gosh, y'all. And then I really just been all over the place, but it's taught me a lot of time management, especially for this semester, because like I'm working now. I never worked like my whole college career. I never worked while in school. Now I'm working. Now I'm doing schoolwork and doing Delta business. It's like, oh Lord, yeah. Let me sit my tail down somewhere because I don't got time for no games. Like it's a lot of work. Like, and my mom and my grandma being Delta, they never told me that. Like they just never said nothing about, yeah, you got to do all this work. I never heard that. Well, I knew, like, you got to put on programs, but that's just the bare minimum. Like, that's not even the half.
I would say I wouldn't tell myself anything because I don't want to. I know how I am. It will probably persuade me, but I would say that with what Jasmine was saying, like it's a lot of work, especially if we have a small chapter. It is a lot of work, and I think if I could tell myself just one thing, it would definitely say be prepared to work in all different capacities in the organization, not just at a pres VP level, but like also with everything else. And as she talked about earlier, plugging stuff in the corporate website, like. Yes, I mean I've done that probably enough for a lifetime, but it is true. It's a lot. It's really a business. It's truly a business. So I would probably just tell myself just to be prepared to really step up and work in any capacity. Don't just do what you feel most comfortable in.
For me, I probably tell myself don't be as shy as I was, because now being in it, when girls tell me, "Oh, I was so nervous to talk to you," I'm like, "Why?" But just last year, I was nervous to talk to the ladies in my org. It's like we don't hold ourselves to this high pedestal. Like we don't think we're super famous or important to anybody else. Like we are same as you and me. We both get emails. We both in classes struggling. I would not have been that shy because we are all going through it together.
If I could tell myself one thing, it would most definitely be basically expect the unexpected. Not in a bad way, but just make sure that you got all your ducks in a row. And like Jasmine was and Alexis were saying about the work ethic, it's a lot that goes into sorority work. Like you may, like somebody was saying, you may have a event this day, you may have a chapter meeting the next day, and then you may have to have a national meeting with your bachelor's, your grand bachelor's, and all this day. So you have to make sure that you're really focused on what you're doing and come with the right intentions. And also, like Miss Sneed was saying, with dues, we dues are not cheap at all. So you want to make sure that whatever you get, if you get a refund, go ahead, set that money aside, because by June or July, or you got to pay it by December, you need to have that money there, okay? Because you don't want no late fee, and you want to stay financial, and you want to stay active. And that's the biggest thing, staying financial and staying active.
Thank you for that, because there's a difference, right? So there are two, and they're not the same. So financial is due pay a member. Active means that you are doing the work of the organization, and we need people to be both, not either or. We need people to be both. So what are some misconceptions of your organization that people may have heard out in the World Wide Web, out in the environment, that someone has said about your organization that you hear before you became a member, or you hear now that's just a misconception about your organization? Go ahead, Talisha. I see you laughing, girl. Go ahead.
I don't know if I could. I'm trying to say it the politically correct way. How they say SGROs are the lesbian sorority.
EQA, LGBTQA. I know where you was going.
Thank you. So we accept everybody of every sexual orientation. I think that was the funniest one that I've heard, because I guess I'm straight, and we have some of my sisters are part of the LGBTQ community. So that one we gotta have to combat.
I can talk for us. So deltas are mean, they're bullies, and it's always just we're mean. Like that's it. Deltas are mean. And that is not true at all. Like probably the sweetest ever. But I think it's the demeanor, like our demeanor, like, yeah, we're not coming to play because it's business. So we're definitely not mean. We're very sweet. All my line sisters are very sweet. My profiles, everybody sweet. So
I will piggyback on that. I never saw that. I've heard that, but I never saw that. But I think just because Jasmine was speaking, so I won't come back and bring it back around again. But I just heard that we were about business. And honestly, we're not here to intimidate or anything, but it's about business. And sometimes you have to be about business, but you got to slow down too and be cordial or whatever. But it's about business and being bosses. And so sometimes people don't know how to accept that, okay, but you meet organizations are made of people. So you meet all types of people in all organizations. But just to classify one organization as being anything, I think is unfair. Like people say stereotypes about all of us, right? And I'm like, well, that could be in Delta too. And that could be an SGRO too. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that, you get there and you're like, oh, that's not the case. Lex?
I would definitely say for my organization is always was, or what from what I've heard is like more like fair-skinned ladies join the organization, which is far from the truth. We have different complexions, different backgrounds. We have Caucasian sisters, we have Hispanic sisters. It's all over the place. And I would also say too that they're kind of prissy, standoffish, which is definitely not the case. Some chapters may be that way, but that's definitely not for all chapters. And I hate the fact that in experience, someone could have maybe one or two of my sorors kind of just detriments and says that that's how they are with as a group, which is far from true. We're just trying to navigate how to be women and conduct ourselves in business in professional settings. So that's definitely not what we represent.
I definitely want to say that that's why it's important to get to know these people in these organizations, so you realize, okay, they're not actually like this before joining. So it's really important to try to get to know them.
As far as Tau Beta Sigma, I wouldn't say that I've heard any misconceptions, because I don't know, I really haven't heard any, but it's really just the most I see is a lack of miseducation. Like people don't really understand it, because you wouldn't really understand it unless you're in band. But really the purpose of Tau Beta Sigma is to serve the band director. And that's just what people, I guess, lack knowing.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So we're going to ask about two more questions, and then we're going to end this conversation. But what has been the biggest impact that your organization has had on you, the most notable experience that you have had? So it's kind of twofold. You can ask either or. What has been the biggest impact or the most notable experience that you have had as a member?
I'll share first. So my most notable experience is probably just like dealing with everything through this pandemic. It's really forced me to step up and say, okay, what needs to be done. It's not just, all right, we can't have events in the band room anymore. So it's like, how am I able to contribute to making sure we keep the morale of the program up? Because we still have to practice. It's just we have to do it a different way. So that's been the most notable thing, because it's just challenging me and allowing me to get to know myself more dealing with all of this.
Alexis, Jasmine, Essence. I'm looking at y'all from the screen, so I'm kind of doing y'all the way my screen is going, so it's no particular order. But Talisha's unmuted. Go ahead, Talisha.
So for me, it was kind of random. I think I was in Target, yeah, and a little old lady, she was so nice. I guess she saw my lanyard just swinging, and she walked up to me, and she was like, "Hey, so," I was like, "Hi." This is recent. I think when I went back to Charlotte, I was like, "Hi," and conversation was going, and everything was sweet. And in the middle of Target, she started praying on me, and a lot of stuff has been happening recently, and she doesn't even know that I needed it. I needed that prayer. And when I was at my lowest, I was hurting, and she prayed on me. And that, I feel like that will stick to me for the rest of my life. That is what I joined.
Thank you for sharing that, sister. That was powerful. And thank you to that other sister that was your soror who prayed over you, because those are the things. Those are the things that people don't. Girl, I'm telling you, it's good to be us. Go ahead on Lex.
I was going to say, as for a service aspect, definitely working with the high schoolers for me was big. Like I stated earlier, I wish I had that influence when I was in high school. I would say definitely the crossing. That was really just a significant, I think I can forever. It's a significant moment. I know for me personally, it was on so many different levels. Also within my organization, with my chapter, we are partnered with our another soror who's like our mentor in the graduate chapter. And she's just been so good to me throughout this past almost 2 years. So that's really been such a highlighted moment for me. She's really just been a kind of like an auntie, a close auntie with this, which was great. And I would say lastly, just seeing, my soror Kamala Harris become vice president, that was big for me personal on just on numerous levels, because there were so many things we could relate to, but just on the level of the fact that she was a soror, she knows my organization, she knows what it's like, and I aspire to hopefully one day to be able to make an impact that she's made. So it's been great.
And my girl took a picture with her. Tell her, Lex, we got that.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. Wait a minute, I forgot about that. And then we had to do, I forgot where we were at that church, but we were all together. And if it wasn't for my tail, Mackenzie Joseph, and I was kind of nervous. I was like, I don't want to, just be disruptive. We played it so cool, got the photo, and we were quick to throw them pickies, but we unfortunately could not, because we can't, of course, we can't endorse the candidate. But it was definitely, I forgot about that. That's probably the second highlight moment for sure for me. Yes.
For me, I have a lot, honestly. So, just being like the whole sisterhood. So I have 39 my sisters, and just the way that we always have each other's back. Like with anything, we text every day. My sisters put motivational texts in our group chat all the time. It's just a bond, like a real true bond, nothing fake or anything like that. And then just going to like Delta Days in Washington DC, and like traveling to these big conventions and seeing everybody, and while also doing the work, it's just like I just love when I see a pool of Delta women and everybody's about their business. Everybody's so sweet. Did you eat? Like, do you have this? Like, just making sure that you're okay. And I really love that about sisterhood, even though I have a sister, but it's just great to have 1,000 more. So
For me, it would definitely have to be for the time that we've been like here on campus and being in the pandemic, it would most definitely have to be doing the COVID drives that we had, and also partnering with Tulsa for doing the Ronald McDonald charity drive that we did. It was just so great to see, you know, everybody coming together, not only, you know, from our sister Greeks, but from our brothers as well, you know, coming together and just supporting us, even though we're doing like our drives kind of virtually and just dropping off, but just to see like coming into the Greek suite and seeing, you know, bags and bags of stuff just there, and it made me feel so great that, you know, we just have this connection, this love. And also, like Alexis said, just even just being having the opportunity to even be here, um, just crossing and just being able to see, like, you know, hey, I did this, and, you know, thank you to the people that supported me and believed in me. Um, and also from hearing like from other people that has seen the growth from me from last year to this year, of just hearing like, I'm proud of you, I see what you're doing and you're doing a great job. Hearing it from our pro fights, from seasoned members, you know, like, we see what you're doing and we're proud of you, you know, keep going. So it makes a big difference when you hear those types of words, and that people see that you're really genuine about what you're doing for your organization, and you don't include yourself. You're like, I'm doing this for our chapter, I'm doing this for my organization, and people really see the genuineness that you have and the passion that you have to, you know, fulfill everything that you want for your organization. So it's a really good heartfelt feeling.
I want to add, Miss Mead, I love when you do like collab events, like as far as the office of fraternity sorority life. Like I love those events, like Sister Circle and everything like that, because we always have our own programs, but it's nice when we can get together and talk with each other. So yes, I really, really enjoy that. So kudos.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's what I want, because I really love us. I mean, I love us. I see our impact. I see how we effectuate change that we may not see today, right? And so I don't, I mean, when I came to college, and I tell people this story, the Zetas did something with us one week, the SG Rose, the Deltas, the AKAs. And so they were very influential of telling us that we are there, but not influencing us to join them. So it wasn't like, oh, they came to recruit us. It wasn't anything like that. And so I saw their greatness. And I know as an alumni member how we partner. So if you don't like Alexis, Jasmine, it's not that you don't like her because she's an AKA and you're a Delta. You know what I'm saying? And that's not true, because our founders did not start this organization for us to be against each other. And so I just really believe that we can do more together. I love to see it. I got excellent feedback on all your partnerships, and I was like, this is working. This looks good. I've heard from your pro fights, your big sisters and them, how they said, oh, this is wonderful that they get to see y'all publicizing these events and that y'all do it. And I love the Sister Circle, because we need this mental health check-in for each other, right? To say, hey, girl, are you okay? And if you're not, it's okay too. So thank you for that, Jasmine. Destiny, did you share about, I think you were the first one to share that go round, right? Okay. Just want to make sure I wasn't leaving you out.
I do want to add to what you said real quick, talking about, you know, working together as Greek sisters. I had the most amazing partnership with Jasmine, your soror, Jordan, when we did praise for SAB, and it was like the greatest partnership ever. And I thought it was so crazy how me and her both come from two separate organizations. We're able to work together, and the best partnership ever, best VP ever. So it was really nice, the fact that we both came from, you know, different sides, but we worked together as Greek sisters. So it was great.
Exactly. And nobody can never know our bond, right? They can, you know, when people come and say, I heard that before I came, people were asking, is that true that this organization doesn't like this organization? It's not. Like, my friends are different things, and you can have people, you can have friendship out of your sorority. You know, I have a big sister who all her friends are AKAs. They've been friends for forever. They've been friends since, I think some went to high school together and when they came to Elizabeth City, but they've been friends and you would see them. And like, I think that if I wanted anything to go away from Greek life, it would be the whole idea that we are adversaries. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not. So, what is one thing, because I think we're getting close to an hour, what is one thing that you would want to leave, a message, a thought that you would want to leave a prospective young lady who may be interested in your organization and or another person's organization?
I would definitely say don't forget your why. Don't forget why you want to join. And if you are to join, why you did join. Because people often forget that and they get lost in the strolls and the steps. But just never forget why you chose that organization and why you wanted to become a member of it.
Yeah, that was good. Hallelujah. I'm sorry. I just had to break that in because, you know, like when y'all were trying to get in, right? And I'm sorry, I just have to say this because that is always important to me. I always tell people you have to know your why, and your why cannot be a what. You can't tell me I want to be a Delta because I know Deltas do this on the 5-point program. No, your why will always bring you back. If you have to take a sabbatical, if you have to step away, when you truly have a real why, it will bring you back to the organization. So thank you for saying that, young soror, because don't forget your why. I don't care if your why is Y Delta, Y AKA, Y Zeta, Y SG Rho, Y Chi Beta Sigma. Never forget your why, and your why has to be yours. And it has to be connected to the organization, not a member, not a chapter. So thank you, young sister, for saying that. All right, go ahead on Destiny.
So I would say the biggest thing is just to be genuine with like who you are. You can say all you want on paper, but if you're not, you have the behavior that shows like you're not really a caring person. You don't really help people. You just help people just so that you can look good. Like that's not a good look. So just be aware of your character. Like when you join these, you always say it at MIO, you say it's a lifetime commitment. You are committing to doing and to saying that you're going to do the mission of those orgs for a lifetime. So that doesn't mean let me just have good character for right now so I can get letters and stroll and all this other stuff, because that's nice and it looks nice, but at the end of the day the truth is going to come out.
For the advice that I would give is if it's meant for you, it'll be for you. To always keep trying. I know with the pandemic, a lot of things were shifted, and a lot of people got discouraged about trying to do the become a member of the organization that they wanted to. But I heavily stress that it takes time, and it may not be the right time for you at that moment. But just to keep going, don't get frustrated because you have to feel like, oh, I have to do it this year, or I have to do it in undergrad. There's different avenues. We have grad chapter for all of our organizations. So don't get discouraged when something skews it just a little bit. It may be a blessing in disguise for you to wait a little bit. And if at first you don't succeed, keep trying. If you really want to be a part and you're working and you're genuine, like Destiny said, then it'll be yours when it's time. So that would be my advice, to just to keep going. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's something that we all wanted and we all want to have it. But if it's not the right time right now, just keep going, keep working, keep going to the events, keep talking to the people, to the members of the sorority or the fraternity, who's ever watching this, just to keep going. Don't stop.
I would definitely say to a prospective member who's trying to join my organization is do it with intent. do it with authenticity, and do it with passion. I know for me, of course, coming into this, at the time, I think the organization is 111 years old, I believe. It's a business, and it can be very overwhelming at times, and it's a lot when you get into it, but I would definitely say stick with it if you're passionate about it. Just like Essence said, there's many girls who I've spoken to over the years who unfortunately didn't make it an undergraduate, and graduate chapters are just as great as undergraduate chapters. So definitely just listen. If it's like you said earlier, Jasmine, and also Essence, like if it's for you, it's for you. We're always, like Jasmine said, remember your why constantly, especially when times get tough, because when you are needed and called upon, we are at you, and that's the biggest thing. And again, if you're gonna do it with passion and do it with authenticity. So
I would say don't lose yourself in the hype of your letters in your org. Don't do that, because your org will humble you with the quickness. Don't let outside people push your head to no return, because then your why, like Jasmine said, get lost, and that is the worst thing that can happen. Keep the mission and keep it in mind. Just keep yourself humble.
I am so blessed today to have these great, astute young women that are members of these great organizations here with us today. Y'all are phenomenal. So we're going to do a little outro. So let me get some ski wee oop, all that stuff that y'all do, yip it, all of that stuff y'all do on the way out to let them know that we were here and now we're out. All right, Destiny, unmute yourself and say your goodbye, sister.
I.
Lex.
okay, I'm a little I know, sorry, but I'm here.
No, it's good. Jazz. All right. Essence and Talisha, unmute yourself together, boo. All right. Thank you, ladies, immensely. I really, really appreciate your time today. I am going to stop the recording, but if you can stay on for a minute, that would be great. Again, this was Greek Life Food for Thought, and this was a conversation between Tau Beta Sigma, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, and Sigma Gamma Rho. We are missing our sisters of Zeta Phi Beta and Lambda Pi Chi. However, we held down the fort for them, and we would they probably would agree about what was said today. So thank you all again. I am stopping the recording now.